Welcome back to the Delivering More platform, folks. I'm your host, Ben Alkire. Thank you so much for your continued viewership morning, afternoon, and evening. We appreciate it. As always, if you could, hit that subscribe button down below. That's going to help us out more than you could ever know. I have another fantastic driver spotlight to bring to you folks today. I have a driver who is celebrating his 1-year anniversary on the platform, joining in June of 2023. He has taken 347 total deliveries, delivered $120,000 worth of food, and driven over 1,700 miles on the Deliver That platform. He's also been active on platforms like DoorDash and Grubhub. Let's get to know Miguel.
Wait a second. You said $120,000?
Yeah, it was that. So I did a little rounding up. It was like 119 and some change. But yeah, just under 119,000.
Whoa, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of food.
Yeah, that is a lot. That's a lot of food.
Yeah. Wow.
What so you're coming off, we were just kind of talking a little bit, you're fresh off a delivery today with a partner of ours out there on the East Coast, Wegmans, the grocery chain. How's the relationship with that partnership been?
Man, I got to tell you, I love Wegsman. I've always loved Wegsman. Wegsman has treated me great. Um, Customers love me when they see me. They are excited. I stopped doing uh deliveries for Wegsman for a while because of the third parties that they were using before. And I don't want to mention their name, but customers were not happy with me not delivering their catering orders. So once they were able to see me again come around, it's the excitement in their face when they see me. They're excited. They with open doors every time I'm there. Hey, you want something? You want something to drink? That's the relationship I have with the customers that are ordering from Wegsman. But Wegsman is an amazing place. Even the staff from Wegsman, um, they are always happy to see me. They're excited. I wish I can expand my arms to help every Wegsman in my area because they want me to handle those large orders. They know it will get done. Um, they tell me the day before if I got to go pick up an order. Hey, we're gonna have this order. It's a $1,200 order. Bring the big car. So I go ahead and I find my way to get another car just to make the delivery happen. That's the type of relationship I have. Sometimes I already know how many items are gonna be in the order because they are open with me. They tell me, "Hey, Miguel, we have this going on this day. Please try to accept the order." And that's the relationship I have with all three Wegsmen in my area. They all love to see me picking up their orders. And like I said, Wegsman is an amazing place. Staff is friendly. They have the orders ready. They never have no complaint towards me. So it's a relationship I've built with them, and it became bigger during the pandemic. Not a lot of people wanted to do it, take orders, and I was there head first. They tell me the time, I'm available, and I would show up. So it would get done. So
Yeah, that's amazing hearing stories about that and drivers being able to build those relationships. Like you mentioned, on the customer side of things, people who are ordering so frequent that they recognize you when you're there to deliver their food again and again and again. And then with the restaurant or grocery partner in this scenario, like a Wegmans, where they have multiple locations in your area, and I'm sure you're friendly with all employees, managers, all facets of those all of the business of that business.
yeah, it's an amazing partnership. I knew about Deliver That partnering up with Wegsman before some of the staff even knew that they were going to partner. When I first started doing with Deliver That, there was only one Wegsman in my area that was on, and I was not getting orders. I would randomly just get one in a million, and then I would call almost every 2 days. Hey, is Wegsman from Bethlehem opening, or is Wegman in my other area opening? No, they're not there yet. It's in beta right now. Once I started seeing those orders come in, forget it. My finger was stuck onto that phone. I was just seeing it, and then that's when they started seeing me more and more because I was doing the third party app, like I said before, but I wasn't getting as much orders because some of these apps, they want you to have a certain percentage of acceptance rate, which it's not gonna happen. So once they, like I said, once they started seeing me come around more. Oh yes, he's back. The customers, oh my God, you're back. Praise to you. That's the way they treat me. I know everybody. All the um places that are delivered, that they need delivery for catering order, all those customers, I know. They all know who I am. Hey, if I go the next day and they don't see me, hey man, we were expecting you. Where were you? I was like, hey, I'm only one. I can only be in one place at one time. Oh, you better make sure you're here next time. So, now some customers add me to the notes. I got like maybe 8 customers that ask for me all the time. But sometimes I have to decline the order because I have other orders that I don't like to drop orders if I don't have to. But I try to meet everybody's needs. I try to be in one place, and I don't. You can see from my pattern, I'm in one place in where I'm at in my market, and all of a sudden I'm in the next market, and some of the dispatchers like, how do you do it? Because it's like I move around so quick and I'm everywhere. So that I have a really good relationship with Wegsman, and also the customers. All the customers, they know who I am.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up the rollout of things, and we had to do that in terms of how they were built into our API and things like that, and the software they utilize on their end to make sure we kind of rolled everything out correctly. So that's kind of intriguing that you bring that up, and something I'd like that you did bring up there too is the customers being able to request you, and then when those deliveries get submitted to us, your name is on those deliveries. That is something we've talked a little bit more on our end in terms of how these drivers, whether you are same day delivery driver, catering tier, preferred tier, elite driver tier, if those restaurant partners or customers are requesting you specifically, those deliveries are going to go to you. So you can realistically build your own book of business on the Deliver That platform through your relationships with the customers and the restaurants.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't. It's one thing I always say, and I've told a couple of drivers that I've met, you can't go into a place and not say good afternoon or good morning, or you can't do that. You're not building a relationship. You're just there just to take the order and leave. I actually go on and beyond, and I text my customer after I'm done with the delivery. I let them know that I sincerely appreciate their general tip. You know, I always make sure that I go on above and beyond, because that's what is building you. You're building your brand. I work with Deliver That. Deliver That handles gives me orders. I have to keep my reputation. It's my own business. So, it's like I always make sure that I say good morning to the customer, good afternoon, um, even to the Wegsman, good morning, good afternoon. I always make sure that um, I talk to the customer, let them know I'm good at texting. I'm always texting, Deliver That. I sometimes think like, geez, these people are gonna get sick of me. I'm always texting, but it's because I'm accustomed to perfection. So I need to text and let you guys know the status of my order. And at the same time, I'm texting the customer and letting them know, hey, I'm waiting on the restaurant to complete your order. You have to have that relationship, because you can't expect, customers request you when they see that you go above and beyond. You can't just expect to get an order and just you consistently get the same order over and over. You have to build a relationship with the customer. It's always about the customer. You have to always go above and beyond. And like I said, I always make sure that I text the customer and thanking them for their general tip, because they care about that. They're spending more money to get it delivered. So that's at least the best we can do, is send them a thank you. Hey, thank you for your tip. And they always say, "Oh, you're very welcome. You deserve it." And That's why, because you have to build your brand. I work with Deliver That, but I'm also working my brand, my name. You know,
For sure, I think that's a great way to explain it in depth. And you mentioned kind of your interaction with the customer specifically, and your line of communication with them. I think something that maybe be poignant to bring up with an individual like you who seems so communication focused. In what scenarios are you reaching out to a customer or a restaurant to let them know about the delivery? Are you letting them know when you're only going to be 5 minutes late? Or are you waiting till, hey, it's going to be an extended delay where it's 15, 20, 30 minutes? In what scenarios are you reaching out to these customers and partners to let them know what's going on with their delivery?
I reach out to the customer as soon as I get to the destination. As soon as I get there, I see what's going on. And with Wegsman, they pretty open. So I ask them, hey, how long is the order gonna take? If they even tell me 1 minute, I am texting the customer and letting them know, hey, I'm just letting them know that I'm waiting for the Wegsman to complete their order. And once I receive the order, I text them back and I say, hey, just a quick update. I'm heading to your destination now. So they know where I'm at. They know, and I give them an estimated arrival time. So, they pretty much know when I'm going to get there, because sometimes they'll have a car parked in the driveway. Like if I'm going to a private home, they have a car in the driveway and I can't get in. So they'll move the car so I can park and unload the car, my stuff for them, excuse me. And with the when it's a corporate buildings, which is pretty much what I always get, I let them know, because some of them, they don't want any setup. So they'll come down with their cart and I'll just give them the order at the lobby. So I'm always letting them know, because this way they can just be downstairs or be in the front lobby to exchange, to give them their food. Because a lot of the customers in my area, we they don't let you go inside because of the privacy, the policy they have in place. So it's like you would have to pass through all everybody's computer, which I am able to see if I wanted to as I'm walking. So because of policies in place, they'll just receive their order at the front door. I'm able to go inside of the building, but I'm not able to go behind where their break room is at.
Right, right. And so in those scenarios, so like on the Deliver That platform specifically, you're mentioning the setup piece of things. When you first got on the platform, I know in the survey we sent over, you said you were excited, a little bit nervous in terms of getting things going and taking that first delivery. Was the setup piece something you were concerned about, or how do you feel about the setup process on the Deliver That platform?
It's easy. I think I was over. My wife said, "Oh, you're just overreacting. You're gonna be fine." But it went smooth. I had no issue. I guess it's because I was new to Deliver That, so I didn't want to mess anything up, not knowing how was I was new to it. It was my first delivery, so I didn't know. I already knew the other apps how it is. Oh, you go, you drop it off, but here it's completely different because you set up. I was doing in the third party apps. I was delivering for Easy Cater, but I would have the same issue with Easy Cater, that Easy Cater wanted setup, but the customer didn't want setup. So for that first delivery, I was like, oh man, but what if they say something if I don't set up? I know the customer, they don't want setup. But other than that, it went smooth. I was like, oh, I let you guys know. You guys are, oh, don't worry about it. Just let us know when that happens, and we'll handle it from there. As long as you get the signature or picture from outside, you're fine. So I was after that, it went great. After that, I had no issues with any other delivery. And I always take pictures at pickup. I know you guys probably see it. Take pictures at pickup and at drop off. I'm always good with the pictures also, because I want you guys to see what is it I'm picking up. So I don't want anything to be lost and I don't have proof. But this way I have proof of what I picked up. So I'm pretty good with that.
What about in terms of, I know we're talking a lot about the Deliver That platform specifically, which I love. Obviously, we're on the Delivering More platform, hosted by Deliver That. But what about your time just entering the gig economy? In the survey, you mentioned other third-party marketplace platforms you delivered for. You talked about it a little bit in the conversation so far. How did you first initially get started in the gig economy?
So before before I started working with the gig economy, I worked for the Department of Mental Health for 17 years. Um, I worked in I lived in Boston and Massachusetts. I worked there for about 5 years at an all male lock unit, and then I moved back to New York, and then I ended up I ended up doing the ride share first. It was on and off, but I was still working for the Department of Mental Health. So I was still on and off. I would just do it whenever I needed extra cash. And then I went full force once the pandemic hit. You know, I didn't have no work. There was no work going on. As a behavior specialist, I couldn't, visit clients. So I told my wife, hey, I'm gonna do this. And she's like, oh, okay, she's always supportive of whatever I do. And that's when I started working with I went full force with during the pandemic, I went full force with the rideshare. And I would have to tell you that I always had the other apps, but when I did the rideshare, it was in the pandemic. I was out there during the pandemic. I've lost family members during the pandemic, but I was still out there. You won't believe what I did. I end up grabbing the acrylic um oh man, the acrylic sheets from Lowe's.
Yeah, you like
Yeah, you
put did
like
you
That
put
put
is
it
it
like
that
between your
plastic.
in your
car?
car.
I put it like back in New York. I put it in the between myself and the car and the person behind me. My wife and I customized it. I had a little hole, a pool noodle that would go from my AC vents to the back to give them air during the summertime. And I would disinfect my car every time a passenger left. So it got to the point that I stopped doing it because some of the people would just come in my car, slam the door, and I was like, before I get into anything with these people, I stopped. And I started doing the food delivery full time. I was out there from like 8 in the morning till about 9 o'clock at night. I was just because there was so much money being made. So that's how I ended up starting because due to the pandemic, I ended up I said I'm not going back to the Department of Mental Health. I don't want. I've done 17 years, and when you start seeing doctors talking to themselves, you know it's already a wrap. You know it's time to go. So I end up I left. I stopped doing that, and I just dedicated myself to full time uh the delivery. And I never thought I would like it, but man, I love it. It's just all about making money, pretty much.
Yeah, I have a few follow-up questions to that was a ton of information. I appreciate it. But first being in terms, so you start out rideshare, now you're in the food delivery game. I assume you mentioned kind of the interaction with the passengers is kind of what drove you away from the rideshare. What do you enjoy about food delivery compared to the rideshare game?
Food delivery is easier. You go, sometimes there's wait time, and you just put the food in your car and you drive it to its destination. With a customer, you never know what you're gonna get. With a ride share person, you never know what you're gonna get. They can come in the car perfectly fine, have a bad phone call, and they're snapping in the back, banging. So it's like you put yourself at harm's way, pretty much. You never know what you get. With food, you know what you're getting. It's food. You're dropping it off to a customer at the front door. With a with a passenger, you don't know what you're gonna get. You know, and you know, I give it to whoever does the ride share, but for me, it's not for me. It wasn't for me, but I did it, and there was no work, so I had no other choice. I had to make moves. So I told my wife, I'm gonna go. My wife didn't want me to do it. She's like, "Oh, you're crazy." I'm like, I gotta make ends meet. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I did it, but now I ride a delivery a million times than driving a passenger. You like I said, you never know what you're gonna get. And then when you start seeing them bringing bags of laundry in your car, you don't even know that they're gonna do that. You just see them, you go pick them up, you have a whole laundry. They have the whole laundry cart. So it's like you can't tell them no, they're already there. So yeah, I will never do that again. I told my wife I think it was just a phase, but nah, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. The amount of variable that can happen between food delivery and a rideshare passenger, I feel like is pretty exponential. The second question I wanted to ask, you mentioned being in the mental health industry for 17 years. I find it super interesting. Individuals who had a legitimate career prior to getting into the gig economy. You had a job where you had probably insurance, benefits, possible pension, things afterwards, where that career was very steadfast and a great position to be in, where now you're put in a position where you don't really have a choice but to find another way to make a different way of income and find a different way of living. But you said you don't think you'll ever go back to it. So I think that's super interesting. Why do you think you'll never go back to a regular W-2 kind of employee lifestyle?
Because I have a lot of freedom. So I spend more time with the kids, my wife. I'm able to do more being home. I'm able to help my wife. There's a business that I have on the side also. So I'm able to do more as working a corporate job, or, in the mental field. I mean, it takes a lot of your time. It takes a toll on the person also. You go through a lot. You got to be, to work in the mental field, you have to be mentally prepared. You see a lot of things. I am done doing restraints. I used to do a lot of restraints. Um, and I just, my body gave up after all those years doing that, and doing chemical restraints. I just didn't want no more of it. It's just, and it was just exhausting. I would Sometimes I'll be mad and I don't even know why after so many years of doing it, but it was because of the environment I was in. It was like you hear 20 people at the same time talking to you. I know, they have mental health issues, but it's just, I think after like 10 years, you got to cut it and go somewhere else pretty much. But I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back. I like my independency. So working the delivery apps is way more better. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're working in the mental health field, but it almost takes a toll on your own mental health being in that environment that you didn't feel was healthy for you.
Yeah, you're right. It's like I tell you, it's time to go when you see the psychiatrist talking to himself in the elevator. It's time to go. If he's talking to himself and he's been there longer than me, imagine me, you know. And I would tell, I would ask him, "Hey, who you talking to?" Oh, no, nobody. I'm just talking to myself, my thoughts. It's time to go once you see that happening. So
That's
that's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, but I don't ever want to go back to it, and you know, I did my duty, and I helped out the much as as much as I could, So, but yeah, I would not go back. I want to stay in deliveries. I'd rather do this.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And you brought up something I 100% wanted to talk about that we talked in about last week during our check-in call. Your business outside of all of this. We kind of talked about how on a deliver that platform or a food delivery platform, you have your own book of business with the restaurant partners and the customers. And now you're also talking about how being in the gig economy allows you freedom to be with your family, take vacations, and then in lieu of all that, you're also able to start your own business. And we kind of mentioned, I know I got the cup here, so I do want to allow you to like take a moment, tell us how you were able to actually take time while being in the gig economy to start your own book of business, your actual own business. Throw out a website if you got it. Let people know where they can order it, and we'll kind of put a little spotlight on it.
So my wife started it. We started it together. It all started with a Cricut machine. She wanted a Cricut machine, and we she bought it, and I said, hey, she said, hey, let's we can make a business out of this. And I said, okay, let's see what we could do, whatever. It happened 2 years ago, and it just started. She posted it on Etsy, and that's how it became. We just started getting more orders, more orders. We get tumblers. We do those tumblers you have there. We do any type of tumblers. We got laser engraving, and that's how we started 2 years ago. We ended up buying everything that we needed. We get suppliers from overseas, and we do what we got to do. And my wife, she's the head of operations. She's there 10, 11 hours. I just find the items, we buy it, we purchase it. I help her with the laser, but I just take the ship, I ship them off. I take it to the post office, and that's one thing I do. I always represent the deliver that. I put all our boxes, they go into my deliver that catering bags. And there it goes. I'm always representing deliver that. I'm always advertising. Wherever I walk, I have the bags. You know, we grab the items that we have and we put them in plastic bags. And then those plastic bags, I put them inside of the delivering bags. And they off to the post office. And that's how, and because of that, the post office started ordering from Wegsman. And they order because they saw the bag. They're like, hey, what is that? Deliver that. You deliver? I'm like, come on, I work with deliveries. And he's like, oh, but that's a new company you work for. I'm like, yeah, Wegsman has them now. Then they noticed the bag, and that's how they started ordering from Wegsman again. Because they stopped ordering because they didn't want the other people to deliver to them because of all the issues they had. But like I said, I'm always representing deliver that. And just to jump somewhere else real quick, my wife makes fun of me sometimes because you have to accept the order to get them. She's like, I have pictures of you sleeping with your phone right next to you with the app open. So we always joke about that. She's like, you are the deliver that guru. And but I'm proud to be a deliver that driver. Like, I am really proud, and I you guys are different. You guys are completely different. Everybody has their own opinion about anything in life, but deliver that has been nothing but great with me. And you guys are awesome. And I tell every time I see you guys, I'm like, that's family right there because of the way you guys are. You guys are for drivers on top of everything. So I respect that about you guys. It's not. It doesn't feel staged as with other companies, but you guys are awesome. I got to give it to you guys. I was like, hey, when I first started, let's see what happens. I only got one order, but other than that, it started going well for me. And you guys rock, man. I'm telling you, you guys deliver. That's gonna take over everybody. You'll see. I know that for a fact. Deliver that is gonna take over. You guys got nothing but positive feedback in my area. They Wegsman love you guys over here. But yeah, so yeah, that's that with the business stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, I just appreciate you saying all that. That was unbelievable, kind of closing to that piece of information and content you were giving to us there. And obviously, we appreciate everyone out there, man. I know, obviously, you and I have been going back and forth in YouTube comments for like months now, so that's kind of where I became familiar with you and your name. And then Nate kind of was like, "Hey, man, we got to get this eye on the spotlight," and he's doing great things for us. So, obviously, yeah, I mean, people always ask like, how do you promote yourself within deliver that, how do you go to preferred, how do you go to elite tier, and this is kind of the building block to that, right? When you stand out from the crowd and build a relationship with deliver that internally, as well as the restaurant partners, as well as those restaurant customers, it makes things, we it's undeniable at that point for us to make sure that you are the ones taking our deliveries. Does that, if that makes sense? Like we don't have a choice but to make sure you are the one taking the deliveries for us.
It does make sense. It's like everything in life you have to be positive about. You have to put to get to receive. You can't. Sometimes I just sit and think, and I read some comments sometimes where I'm like, geez, like why these people have to speak this way? They don't see the bigger picture. You have to see the bigger picture. And it's like they always put blame at the company, but there only so much they can do. I know that as a business owner, you have to be patient. Everything in life, you have to be patient. So sometimes I see these people in comments and stuff like, I'm like, they don't. Do they really expect something good's gonna happen after? You can't be that way. You have to understand. You got to be patient. Patience is key always. You know, and it's crazy because these other third party apps, they don't do half of what you guys do. They don't do this. They don't take deliveries. There was one company that was only doing once a month and that went dead. They don't do it anymore. You guys are always on top of everything. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't feel staged. I know that's how you guys are. It's like I always say, real recognizes real. So um I recognize deliver that it's real. You guys are there. You guys pick up our calls. You guys always work with us. I know with me, you guys always work with. I'm sure with everybody else. Or it's only a phone call away to get things done. Holly does great. Heather, forget about it. Heather, I always she's always picking up my calls when I call. Heather is always there. She's always helping me if I need something. And she's always like, hey, don't worry about it. We know you text us, but you gotta understand that you have to be patient. Patience is key for everything. You can't just expect anything to come right away. You gotta put the time in. You gotta put and sometimes every market is different. So you can't get an elite status where there's a market that already has a lot of elite drivers, 3 elite drivers, 4 elite drivers. It depends on your market. So, I appreciate everything you guys have done. And I have nothing bad to say about Deliver That. And I'm being honest right now, I only work with Deliver That. I don't turn on the other apps. They're in my phone. I don't even work with them no more. I've only do orders for Deliver That. A lot of people, the local restaurants, the little restaurant, hey man, we don't see you no more. I'm like, I'm with Deliver That right now. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not doing no other third party apps. But yeah, if Deliver That had if Deliver That picked up Easy Cater orders because it's around my area, then it's different because they do get a lot of Easy Cater orders, catering orders around my area. But they leave it to the third party. They don't, as I mentioned before, some of the restaurants don't even want to deal with the third party, the other people. And they ask me, hey, I'm like, yeah, Deliver That, but it's a catering. But Deliver That has been amazing, and I'm always gonna say that I know there's gonna be bigger and better things in the near future. So I'm not planning on going anywhere.
Awesome, man. We don't want you to go anywhere, man. I know Holly, Heather, two great individuals you mentioned. Obviously, they're always grinding over there on the office floor, and we got so many other agents out over there that I know are taking calls, making calls, answering texts, helping out routing, helping out the dispatch side of things. So, any praise we can give to them, I'll always echo a million times over. So, thank you so much, man. And we feel the same about you guys, man. I know you said things don't feel staged over here, and we have by drivers for drivers plastered on our wall for a reason, man. We all started at this company as delivery drivers. We continue to embody that kind of emotion and that feeling as we onboard people, as we educate people, and as we help you out through this delivery journey. So we appreciate you guys. That's why we do the driver spotlights and highlight individuals like you who are able to find success in the gig economy, to deliver that platform wherever it may be, and we just kind of keep things moving, man. And like you said, hopefully things get bigger and better, and this thing continues to grow.
Oh, it is gonna grow. I know that for a fact, man. You know it's gonna grow. I know for a fact it's gonna grow. You guys are taking over. Everybody's hearing Deliver That. Everybody's seeing the brand. Trust me, you guys do way more. I'm telling you, we don't get. You never got a anything from all these other apps. They don't care about the drivers. They just care about getting the stuff done and all delivered. That's it. You guys take the time. You guys take the spotlights. You guys do a lot of different things. You guys communicate. Your YouTube. You're always on point with your stuff. You do an amazing job. You know you're down to earth. Everybody in Deliver That is down to earth, and that's what I like a lot. You guys are down to earth, and as I said, it's not staged. You guys really mean what you are. Real recognizes real, and I recognize the company as a real company.
Hell yeah, man. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thanks so much. I know I rescheduled and then you rescheduled, so we finally made it work. So I'm happy we finally got to meet, get face to face here, have some time to communicate and create this further bond and relationship, man. So thank you so much for your time on the platform, sitting down with me, and I know we'll be in touch soon, man. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.